I've never gone to a parents-teacher meeting, ever.
But you like that.
Yeah.
Oops.
I've only gone,
Oh, this is broken.
not a good one. I've only gone in for a Vremel. I went twice to see Rabbi Roth. That's it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Today we start Ayin Hey. Ayin Hey on the top. Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
The chair's okay? You want another chair?
No, it's fine.
Sure.
Well, actually, you know what I want to do?
No, this is fine.
I want to go through the psukim. Let me get another chumash. It's an English chumash.
Here, why don't you look in this and I'll look in the Hebrew? Oh, you got it in
English,
this
no,
one.
it's English chumash. I just want to go through the
Here.
psukim.
Oh, okay.
Because we have a bunch of
I could do the Hebrew. So
use the Hebrew.
you can go ahead and look at this.
Thanks.
We're gonna just take a minute to look at the psukim in Vayikra Bais. There's a chumash, Chaim. Chapter 2. Here it says, "L'nefesh kisakev kavin mincha l'Hashem." If someone would bring a carbon mincha, seilas yeh karbanim, he brings it from flour. This is called the mincha seilas. Over here it says, "V'yotzak aleha shemen." This is our source for yitzika. V'nasan aleh levaina. Okay, so now he brings it to Aaron the Kohanim and he does kamitza from the flour and from the oil next to all the levaina. And Shekaya, he burns it.
Now? What happened to this?
You want to take it back downstairs?
What?
You don't want to take it back downstairs?
No.
The Kohen,
I know, I don't want. I have.
This is new.
This is Hayeno?
You don't have it.
Don't have it.
What do you mean?
Square.
You don't have it.
You don't have it.
the
Trust me, I
Kohen,
don't give out old newspapers.
the Kohen burns it.
It's not with me in the morning.
It's a
What
sweet
was your
smell.
lottery?
I didn't win. I was going to give it to you.
It's a sweet smell to Hashem. The remnants of the mincha goes to Aaron and his sons.
One person won.
Kodesh Kadashim. Okay, second mincha, it starts in verse Daled.
Please, Saku.
If someone brings a korban mincha baked in the oven, mafisana, it's flour, chales, matzahs. Chales matzah goes together. Blus bashemen, that's mixed with oil. Rikiki matzahs are meshuchim bashemen, are smeared with oil. Okay, so we have the two types here. Remember, we have Reb Shimon, it says you can bring 5 of 5, or you have to bring either or. Now we have mincha al machavas korbanach. Here we have seilas belula bashemen. Here we have an interesting pasuk. It says pasuk seisipitim. That means you break it into pieces. You attack the aleh shemen. On it you put oil. Mincha hi. It is a mincha. We're going to use today the words aleh and hi. And isa, aleh, hi, isa. In minchas marcheshes, if it's in a deep pan, korbanach seilas bashemen teyasi. Here it doesn't say belula. It says seilas bashemen teyasi.
It doesn't say Yotzak or Mashak.
Right. Here it's
Te'asa b'shaman.
that means
Fry it, put it in
that
oil.
means that you put the oil in the pan before you start. That's what the Gemara told us yesterday. And then you bring it to Aaron and Bihigisha. We had the whole discussion about Hagasha. Okay. That's as much as we're going to need, and we may reference it again. Tana Rabbanan. I'm sorry. I'm going to start 3 lines from the top. It says Chalais Boilalon. The chalais, you mix it with oil. Chalais belula bashemen, right? Divrei Rabbi. The chachamim are seilas. The chachamim say that you don't mix it with oil after it's a challah. You mix it with oil when it's flour. It's a machlekes Rabbi and the chachamim when the oil is mixed in. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. Was taught in the Bais, Seilas Belula. This pasuk was the Machavas. Seilas Belula Bashemen. Seilas Belula Bashemen. It says Seilas Belula. The flour is mixed with oil. Malamid Shenevlala Seilas. This teaches us that it's mixed when it's flour. You mix the flour with oil. Rabbi Yomer Chalis Bailulan. Rabbi says no. You don't mix the oil in when it's flour. You mix it in after it's already made in the loaves. Shenemer Chalis Belulis. He's quoting from the Minchas Ma'afei Taner, where over there it says Chalis Belulis Rikikim Meshuchim. Amrulai. The sages said back to him, we have chalis by the lachmi toida as well. And that's we didn't look at. That's in Perek Vav. That's in Parshas Tzav, the carbon toida. And chalis, and over there it's impossible to mix them when it's chalis. So it must be when I have chalis and I have to mix it with oil. It must be that you're mixing it when it's flour, not after it's made into chalis. Elosailis. It needs to be. The Gemara is going to explain in a moment. How was it done? Nois and shemen bekeli. First, you put the oil in the vessel. Kaidem lasiyasan, before you begin. V'nois na, and then you put it in. V'nois and shemen ala. You put oil on top. Ubayla, and you mix it together. This is the opinion of the sages. V'lasha, you knead it. We also had some warm water that was mixed in. V'oifa, you bake it. Upaisasa, and then you crumble it up, as it says in the pasuk. Pasei Saisa Pitim, right? V'noisnala shemen, and you put oil on the top. That was the din of Yitzika. V'kamatz, you do kamitza. Rabbi Yomer Chalis Bailam. Rabbi's opinion is slightly different. There's only one change here, that it's made as chalis, and then chalis is mixed with oil. Shnemer chalis bulus b'shemen, as it says in the pasuk by the Ma'afei Taner, that the chalis is mixed with oil. So Ketzad Isa, according to Rabbi, how do you do this? Nois and shemen bekeli. Yes, you start with oil on the bottom, like you grease the pan. Kaidem lasiyasa, before you start. V'noisna, and you put the flour in. V'lasha, and you knead it. V'oifa, and you bake it. You didn't add the oil in yet. Upaisa, and then you break it into pieces. V'noisna le'Hashem, and you put the oil into the broken pieces. Ubailala, you mix it with oil. The broken pieces are mixed with oil. V'chayza v'noisna le'Hashem, and then you put the oil on top. That's the din Yitzika. V'kaimitz, and you do kamitza. Now let's go back. So we have the machlekes here. The whole difference here between Rabbi and the Chachamim
Put oil in the beginning.
is both of them you put oil before you start. The question is the second oil that of the belula, the mixing it up. Is it mixed into sort
After
of like
it's baked,
yeah,
or when it's raw?
raw, or after it's baked? It would sort of be like croutons, mixed with oil, or is it flour mixed with oil? The Gemara asks, "I efshar the kamilei l'Rabbanan l'Rebbi maihi." When the Rabbanan told Rabbi, they said it's impossible because the carbon toida is made from chalis.
Who's Rabbanan in this case?
It doesn't say Chachamim, the Rabbanan. If it's a Mishnah, then we assume that it's Reb Meir.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we don't know. It's the Rabbin. So they tell him that you can't. It's impossible to say that you mix it with already baked broken pieces of bread. It would be it's even though it's called chalas, but it's not chametz. It's impossible that it's made with already baked. So what do they mean by that? So Amar Reb Shmuel bar Rabbi Yitzchak Revius Shemenhi. The carbon toida, you use less oil than you only use a half a jug of oil, and then it gets divided. That half is divided in half. So you have for the chalas you only have a jug of oil. He says it's impossible to use a quarter jug of oil on this amount on a nisaron of already baked bread. Why? Because if you add oil as an ingredient, you add less. After it's
Is
baked,
there a specific measurement for the wine, for the oil every time you add it? Does
no,
it have to be
that I don't
specific?
know. I don't know. But here you have a total of a revius, and when after it's already baked, the bread absorbs more oil. So you can't mix all of these broken breadcrumbs with already baked breadcrumbs with such a small amount of oil.
So here he
Rather-
says that normally it's a reva log shemen.
Yeah, a quarter of a lug of oil
So if you do
per
it,
per carbon toida for the chalas of the carbon toida, because it was divided in half. Now, if it would have been mixed while it was flour, you can mix it more because the flour doesn't absorb the same way that the bread would absorb. Okay.
But is it the appearance of the oil that you want to see? So what if you mix it? If you don't put it on top, you want to use that same amount of oil.
That's a good question.
Well, you put it in the pot.
It has
or
to
you
get
mix
everywhere.
it,
I hear
or
what
in
you're
there.
saying.
So,
I guess the problem is that as you add it in, it would get absorbed into the first pieces, and it won't get absorbed into the rest of it because it would use it. It would suck it in. The whole. I think that's my understanding is that there will be pieces there that will be dry.
have you ever made?
Do you want to try this?
So you got to go to your baker.
Now,
A lot of bakers are basically Wakonian.
oh yeah,
From Dure.
interesting.
From my family.
We have several versions of this Gemara.
The next one?
No, the Gemara that we just read. The other interpretation goes like this. The Gemara's question was that it doesn't go efshi de kamilei rabbanan. It does. It's supposed to be shaper kamilei rabbanan. The rabbanan told Rabbi well. What does Rabbi respond? The rabbanan's maihi. What is his response? And the answer to that response was. Actually, you have to take out the mahi. You take out the mahi according to the skirsa. In the efsher, the word efsher is very similar to the word shaper. Efsher means so the girsa with shaper kamri le rabbanan le Rabbi. They have a good claim to him. The carbon toida couldn't have been mixed, and Rabbi responds, no. The carbon toida used in Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yitzchak is responding for Rabbi that carbon toida was different. You only had a half a look. Over here, you don't have a half a look. Here, you have a look. You can use a whole look in the.
Why does it say half a look? That's what it says in the
A revius, yeah, it says. It says. Where's the pasuk? Okay.
Or maybe this. It says Ein Zayin Amad Bais.
So we'll see soon.
How it gets to half a log.
There's a third interpretation here, and that's from Taisvis. And Taisvis says that Shaper Karmeli Rabbanan Umaihi, that the Rabbanan told Rebbe very well, and Rebbe was actually changed his mind because of this. Rebbe said that, okay, I agree with you, that it's impossible. And they quote from a Tosefta that Rebbe actually changed his mind. And what was the reason why Rebbe changed his mind? And then he gives the explanation, because by the Torah it would be impossible to use that amount of oil with already baked bread, so it needs to be silas. Okay. The text of the Gemara changes the whole what the result is. Okay.
Why is it that there's issues with the text of the Gemara?
Because it's copied. People copied it. They wrote it by hand.
But in the Chumash, Baruch Hashem, there's no text. We have one daka, aleph or hey. That's it.
Chumash was kosher. The Sefer Torah was kosher puzzle. This was Talmidim were using it. It wasn't kosher puzzle. It wasn't.
All right, what did I miss?
There's several reasons why why we have machlekes in. One is that we have different rules of who we paskin like. Rab and Rabbi Yosef, who do we go like? So we have rules, but does this rule apply in this case? Another reason. Yeah, I was using the Chumash before. Another reason why we have machlekes in is because they simply had different texts. In France, the text was different than it was in North Africa, and that we have clearly different texts. Another reason why we have machlekes is they had different svarim. They didn't have access to the to those Rishonim, and then if they would have seen those Rishonim, maybe they would have changed, maybe not. Okay. But the big deal in the Gemaras is that we have contradictory conclusions in Gemaras, and the question is which one is the main source? Like we're going to see today, we have a Gemara in Brachas, we have a Gemara here, and the conclusions could be different in the different Gemaras. And which one do we take as the more significant one? Okay, Chalis tunis belila urekikin meshicha. Chalis we're talking about the minchas ma'afetana, where you have two possibilities. It's a mincha that's baked in the oven. You have two possibilities. You can either bring it as loaves. It's still not chametz, but it's loaves. Or you can bring it as wafers. Come to Ayin Hay, go back one.
What's wafers?
Wafers means flat. Rikikin, it's...
Like flat bread.
Tanu Rabbanan. The rabbis taught an important brisa. Chalis belulis. The chalis are mixed with oil, but v'loi rikikin belulin. But the rikikin are not mixed. We looked up the pasuk before. It says rikikin were meshuchen. Oh no! Oh, I see what's happening. There's two meseftas there. So right there, v'loi rikikin belulin. Sheyachol, because I could have been different. V'halei dinhu. I could have used the kal v'chaymer. Uma chalei shenim tunis meshicha. The loaves of bread do not need to be smeared with oil, but nevertheless, to unais balila, they need to be mixed with oil, rikikin. So the crackers, shetuna meshicha, that they need to be smeared with oil. Ein din shetuna balila. This is this type of kal v'chaymer where you can, take it or leave it, because we can say it exactly the opposite as well. So Talmud Laimar, the pasuk says, chalis belulis rikikin belula. No. The chalis are mixed with oil, the wafers are not mixed with oil. Now we can do it the opposite. Rikikin meshuchen, v'lei chalis meshuchen. The rikikin are mixed with, are smeared with oil, but the chalis are not smeared with oil. They're mixed with oil. Smeared means just on the top. Sheyachol, because it could have been different. The possibility was v'halei dinhu. It was even be logical. Ma rikikin shenetunim belila. The wafers do not need to be mixed with oil, but tunim meshicha. But nevertheless, you need to smear them. So chalis shetunis belila, the chalis that are more strict, they need to be mixed with oil. Ein din shetunis meshicha, is it not more, all the more so that they should be smeared with oil? Talmud Laima rikikin meshuchen, v'lei chalis meshuchen. It comes to tell me that no, the wafers are smeared, but the loaves are not smeared. My Talmudah means, how do you know that what you're saying is actually true? Maybe it's referring to both of them. It says it by one, but it applies to the other one. Rava explains, the pasuk wouldn't have avoided writing that the chalas should be smeared and the wafers should be mixed, if that was the case. In other words, it must be repeated or something, and somewhere we should have had some sort of hint to this. We have no hint. It avoided it entirely, so we say no, it's specific the way it was told to us. Keitzad Moishchan. The next Gemara says, how do you smear it? Kamin ki. You smear it like a key. Ba'ashar nechel, we'll see what a key is in a minute. The rest is eaten. My kamin ki, what does it mean that you smear it like a key? Amarav kana kamin ki yavani. It means that you smear it like a Greek letter key. It's either a tes, or a nun, or a chaf, or Rashi and Chumash says it's a gimel, and the Rambam writes that it's a ches, an X, English X. Okay. And some interpret that the word ki is, what it means to say is ki is a Rashi Tevis. Ki is kaf yavani. Kaf yavani. Tanu Rabbanan was taught in a brisa. Mincha haba mechza chalis mechza rikikin. If a mincha is brought half loaves and half wafers, anyone remember whose opinion this is? Rabbi holds that you can bring half and half. It's Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon held that you can bring half and half. Half chalas and half wafers for the minchus ma'ifetana. We kept saying, remember Rav Papa kept telling us, we have every time it says a list of menachos, it says there's 10 menachos. And it says, who you're coming to exclude? Reb Shimon's opinion that he holds that there's an 11th where you can bring half and half. So if you do this, maybe like Shemen, you bring half and half, you bring one leg, you divide the leg in half. Half of it will go to the loaves, and half of it will go to the wafers. Chalis boilel and rikikin ma'ishchan. The chalis get mixed with oil, and the rikikin get smeared on the top. U'mosheach esarakik al pnei kulai. This is different than the Mishnah. The Mishnah says you put only on the shape of a key. Here it says that you smear the whole thing, like the way we buttered our bread, right? Try to get all the sides all the way to the end. V'shara shemen. What about the rest? Machzire lechalis. Not like we said in the Mishnah that it's eaten by the kayanim. The rest of the oil. Here you divided it in half. So what do you do with the rest of the oil? You put it in the other one. The chalis, but over there you can actually mix it in. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Mishum Reb Shimon Aimer. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda says in the name of Reb Shimon, Moishchan Kamin Ki, that you put it on like a key, like the shape of this letter. B'shar Shem Nechla Kayinim. And you just, the rest gets eaten. You give it to them straight. It doesn't have to be mixed in.
So it's a machlekes also on
Two machlekes in, right. How it's put on, and the machlekes is what you do with the leftover. Tanya Idach, there's another brisa. Rikikin Abayim B'fnei Atzman. If you only bring the rikikin, what do you do now? This is interesting. You don't have the other one to pour it into, right? The chalis. So what's the first opinion going to say? Maybe like shemen u'moishchan v'chayzer moishchan ad sheyichla kol shemen shebelug. You bring the like shemen, you smear it on the top. When you're done, you smear it again. You keep pouring more and more until it gets greasier and more oily and more oily. You use up the whole bottle. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Mishum Reb Shimon moishchan kamin ki. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda says the name of Reb Shimon that you put it on in the shape of a letter. But for Shar Hashem and Nachal HaKaim, you can give them the jug, the rest. You eat it with whatever you want.
What oil do you need to use?
It's olive oil, but it doesn't need to be the best. It could be from the second and
has
third.
to be olive oil? Does it say anywhere?
Yeah.
There's a...
Well, it's assumed that it's olive oil, but it says by the menorah, it has the different day. You needed to have the top. You divide it into 9 levels of oil, right? The top, the first stripe, the first press, right. Kol Menachos, the Mishnah, new Mishnah. Kol Menachos anasis bekeli tunis b'sisa. All menachos that are made in a keli. What are we excluding here? Are we excluding the silas? Not the silas. So kol menachos anasis bekeli tunis b'sisa. They need to be crumbled. Pitim is crumbled. Plus you say some pitim. No, just crumbs, made into crumbs. We'll see exactly how. Lemute mai. What are you coming to exclude? When you said hanasis bekeli. You're coming to exclude the 2 loaves of bread and the lechem apanim, that those are not broken up into pieces. Okay. Tan Rabbanan. It's taught in a brisa. Pasuk says pitim. We looked up this pasuk before. You break it into pieces. Mincha. The following word says in the pasuk. It says pasuk says pitim mincha he. It says mincha. The Rabbi's kol menachos lepsisa. That means that all the menachos you need to break into pieces. Yachal shani marbaf shtei lechem lechem apanim. Maybe the 2 loaves of bread that are brought on Shavuos and the showbread that's brought every Shabbos, maybe that should also be crumbled, broken into pieces. Talmud Leimer Oisa, you break it. That's an exclusion. It's excluding those 2 things. Now it says v'yatzakta. It says actually v'yatzakta oleh hashemen. We're missing that word. V'yatzakta oleh hashemen mincha. It actually says mincha he. It's just giving me the verbs. It's leaving out the pronouns here. V'yatzakta and the prepositions. V'yatzakta shemen mincha. L'rabbis kol hamenachos liyatzika. This is telling me that all menachos you need to have the pouring of the oil on the top afterwards. Yachal shani marbaf minchas maife. Maybe I should also include the minchas maife taner. We said that the minchas maife, you don't have the pouring of the oil afterwards. You have either meshicha, if it's rikikin, you smear it. You don't pour it, you smear it. Or it was only belula, but you don't have the pouring of the oil afterwards. There was this other din in certain menachos where there were 3 stages of putting the oil. First on the bottom, then you mixed it into the mixture, and when you're done, you pour it on top. by the minchas ma'ifetaner, which you would bring, it was baked in the oven, you would either bring loaves or wafers. You didn't have that pouring of the oil on top. If it was loaves, you only did the mixing. And if it was wafers, you only had the smearing on the top. But you didn't have that extra third level. So Talmud Leimer, how do I know that I don't include that I have to have an extra pouring afterwards? Talmud Leimer, Oleh Hashemen on it oil. What's the on it? So only on those menachos, but not on the minchas ma'ifetana. The Gemara asks, but how do you know you're excluding both? Maybe because minchas ma'ifetana has two types. How do you know you're excluding both of them? So it says, Talmud Leimer hi. I have two exclusions. V'yatzakta oleh hashemen mincha hi. It is a mincha. Those two pronouns on it and the it and it is, that's the exclusion of both types of my fetana, of the mincha that's baked in the oven. My Talmud, who says that that's accurate? Maybe it's coming to exclude the minchas kayanim, that you don't have to pour the oil on afterwards, which the Gemara did before. In certain cases, it excludes minchas kayanim from psisa or other things. So Rabbi says, I have two miyutim. I have a leo and he. There's only one mincha that has two types. That's the minchas ma'ifetanu. You could bring it as loaves, or you can bring it as wafers or crackers. So that means that if I have two exclusions, it's going to be excluding that because I need to exclude the two types, not minchas kayanim. It must be the minchas ma'ifeh. Okay. Minchas Yisrael kaifel echad l'shnayim. It's a new Mishnah. Minchas Yisrael, you fold it. It was made like a lafa, like this pita, a wide pita. You folded.
The challah was a lafa? I thought they were kicking the crackers.
Well, it didn't rise, but it was.
Also lechem apanim didn't rise?
No. It was made matzah. So it was thick. It was thick, but it was still soft, like a Sfardish matzah, soft. So you make it within 18 minutes, but So it was folded once, v'shnayim la'arba, and then it was folded a second time.
Also the shtei alechem was
The shtei alechem was chametz, right? Shtei alechem was chametz, I believe.
After
It wasn't brought on the mizbeach. Yeah, I think that's was that the only thing that was chametz? Besides for the taida, one type of chalas of taida were chametz, and the shtei alechem, I think. Okay, so and then umavdil. After you fold it, you separate it. Maybe it would get a crack on the crease. You would crack it, so you would actually become separated, not just folded. Minchas kayanim, kaifel echad l'shnayim, shnayim l'arba, ve'ena mavdil. But you don't divide it. You fold it, but you don't divide it. Minchas Kayan Mashiach. The Kayan Gadol brings a karban, a mincha every day. Half in the morning, half in the afternoon. Lo yaya makapla, would not be folded. Reb Shimon says, Minchas Kayanim, or Minchas Kayan Mashiach, ain't ben psisa. You don't...
When you fold them, so how many pieces you get at the end?
4.
To the Tanakhama?
You get 4. Echad l'shnayim, shnayim l'arba. You fold it once, and then again, and that would be the... Reb Shimon says that you don't have any crumbling. Because you don't do kmitza. He's talking about a minchas nedava. V'chol shein bem kmitza, ein bem psisa. Now, what's exactly he arguing? Did the Tanakhama say that you have to break it? What he means to say is that you don't fold it either. That's what he means to say. You don't even fold it. Because there's no kmitza. Now, the last part of the Mishnah...
So he's only arguing about Minchas Kayan.
Right. The last part of the Mishnah says...
he also argues with Chulon Pais on Kazesi.
One second, okay. Now, the Chulon Pais on Kazesi has several interpretations. Could be it's Reb Shimon's opinion, and Reb Shimon holds that the Tanakama says that you fold it into 4. He says no, you fold it into the size of a kazayas. Okay, that's one interpretation. Another interpretation here is
But how many Kazesim were in a Menachem?
that I don't know. It was in Nisaran, so we have to work that out. I'm not sure. Nisaran is 53 and a half. There would be 100, a little over 106 kazesim. If a kazayas is half an egg. If a kazayas is half an egg, it would be 106 kazesim.
Huge.
So, another interpretation here is that you had to make sure that the pieces were kazayas. You only folded it into 4, but you had to make sure each one needed to be a kazayas. Another interpretation is that the way that you made it, because you made each of these loaves, you made 10 loaves. The way you divided it, it would come out that doesn't make sense. It's not going to make sense. It's going to work. Each one is going to have 2 point something. Each piece is going to have 2. Was the way you divided it was going to be a kazayas in each. That's what it says. The Bartanura on Mishnayos, the commentary on the Mishnayos, he has another interpretation here, which is not going to fit with the later Gemara that we're going to see. But his interpretation is Kulan Pais on Kazayas is that you break it in. You start off with a kazayas. You made them into small kazesim size, and then Paisasan, the folding of it was done on a kazayas size. So then you'd end up with a quarter of a kazayas per fold per piece. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in a brisa. Pasais. You break it. Yachal l'shnayim. Maybe it means you break it into 2. Talmud Loimar pitim. Pasuk says pieces. Pitim, if it says pieces. Yachal yasena pirudim. Maybe you should make it into crumbs. Talmud Loimar oisa. It. Oisa lepitim. You break it into pieces. But like psisa lepsisim. But you don't break pieces into pieces. That means that you fold it into haketzad. How do you do this? Minchas Yisrael, if it's a Yisrael's mincha, kaifel echad l'shnayim. You divide 1 into 2. Ushnayim larba, and you divide 2 into 4. Umavdil,